Tonight, Caitlin Clark showed us one of the most complete games in WNBA history.
Clark, oh, she got to the rim!
Even when the refs hit her with a technical, she answered them with a perfect stat line.
Clark just blows by Jaquez and gets to the rim and trying to...
3 nights ago in Washington, she buried a game winner at the buzzer, but she also missed both free throws with 36 seconds left and nearly gave that game away. And now she walked into Gainbridge carrying all of that, the buzzer beater high and the free throw miss that almost cost her everything. She was shorthanded tonight because Sophie Cunningham was out, which meant this roster needed her to be the entire engine from the opening tip.
Deflected, way outside for Clark, who drops a 3!
And on the very next trip, she drove into the paint, drew every eye in the building, and threw a hook pass to her teammate at the top of the key for a wide-open 3.
Knocking down triples.
Here's Boston's second three-point look.
Then the Sky committed a 3-second violation, and she stepped to the line and buried it, the first of what would become a historic night at the stripe. And because they still could not figure out how to guard the inbound, she placed a pass to her teammate on the left wing for another 3 that pushed the lead to 10-7. But she was not just carving them up on offense, because on the other end, she stayed in front of Smith on a hard drive to the basket and turned it into a stop.
The court for them.
Diggins right into Clark, who played it well.
And when the defense collapsed on her drive, she read it in real time and kicked the ball to her teammate in the left corner for a 3 that stretched the lead to 15-10.
Clark, kick out, Johnson, a 3.
On the defensive end, they put Banham on her, but she flipped the matchup and forced Banham into 3 consecutive missed threes, just with her presence and her positioning. And when they came back the other way, she isolated Banham at the top of the key. And this is where you see what separates her from everyone else in this league. She spun off the contact, faded toward the baseline, and released a jumper that dropped clean through the net with Banham still reaching for air.
Clark spins, fades, fires, and hits.
And then she cut through the lane off a teammate's pass, drove hard to the rim, and drew the foul on Cloud, because every time she attacks the paint, somebody has to give. She buried both free throws without hesitation, and 3 nights after the missed pair in Washington, you could already feel this was going to be a different kind of night at the line. By the end of the first quarter, the Fever led 27-12, and she was finding her teammates in transition, like this pass to a cutter on the left side for an easy finish.
Clark just oozing confidence, it's to Boston and it's right on the money.
Then she took it herself, driving baseline with a defender on her hip and finishing with a reverse layup that she had no business making from that angle.
Driving baseline, creates some space and finishes with a reverse.
And because the Sky could not get back in transition, she went coast to coast from the rebound, split the defense at midcourt, and laid it in before anyone could rotate.
And on the attack, Clark banks it home.
But the Sky were not going quietly, because by the second quarter, they started throwing 2 and 3 bodies at her every time she touched the ball in the paint.
Drupal team, Indiana turns it over. Cloud launch ahead, it was a quarterback pass for Sheldon.
Yet, even when they took the ball from her, she answered with pure effort, missing a 3 at the top of the key and then chasing down her own rebound before flipping a one-hand pass to her teammate for an easy finish. That is 7 rebounds, 10 assists, and 32 points worth of desire on a single play, chasing a miss like it personally offended her. And right after the Sky scored on the other end, she pushed the pace immediately and drove straight to the rim in transition for a layup that kept the momentum locked on Indiana's side. Then, when the defense collapsed again, she found her teammate with a right-hand pocket pass in the paint for a finish through contact and the and one.
Really tough to guard.
Boston finds some space, lays it in.
But in the third quarter, everything shifted because she drove to the basket and got hit by 2 defenders, Jaquez and Stevens both making contact, and the refs swallowed the whistle completely.
All the way back from a 19-point deficit. How does Indiana respond?
And when she told the officials what she thought about it, they did not call the foul she earned, but they gave her a technical for the frustration, penalizing the player who was getting hit all night long. That technical changed the energy in the building, because the Sky felt it and started chipping away at the lead possession by possession until the 19-point cushion was completely gone.
It's on Diggins, and Diggins is called for the foul.
But she kept attacking through the double teams, because on this possession, she drew 2 defenders and found her teammate in the paint for a hook shot that briefly stopped the bleeding.
Clark feet inside, somehow got it to Timpson!
And then in transition, she pushed the defense again drove hard at Coulibaly, and drew the foul because she refuses to let contact go unrewarded when the refs are watching.
Clark spins around and draws the foul. She'll head to the line.
She stepped to the line and buried both free throws again, and at this point, the pattern was undeniable, because every single one was dropping clean through the net. However, the sky kept coming, and by the start of the fourth quarter, Chicago led 79-73, which meant the entire 19-point lead had evaporated into thin air. But she did not panic, because she faked the three, drove past Cloud, and drew the foul that sent her to the line for 2 more free throws that she buried without blinking. And on the very next possession in transition, she went right back at Cloud, drove through the contact again, and drew another foul because Cloud could not stay in front of her.
On 2, takes it herself and draws the foul right back to the line for Caitlin Clark.
She stepped to the line with the crowd on its feet, and she buried both free throws again, cutting the deficit to 79-77 with the Fever clawing back into the game. Yet, even when the shot did not fall, she refused to let the possession die, because she missed a step-back 3 on the left wing and then pushed straight into the paint and found her teammate cutting for the layup that tied the game at 81.
Clark on the drive, circles around. Backdoor pass, it's right there to Boston.
That is the play of someone who will not let a miss become a wasted trip, because she turned a brick into a bucket with nothing but effort and vision. And from there, she used a double screen from her teammates, turned the corner, and drove all the way to the rim for a finish that put Indiana back ahead, 92-89.
Tacks the rim and lays it in.
Then she read the mismatch before anyone else in the building saw it, and she delivered a bounce pass into the paint for her teammate to finish underneath, stretching the lead to 94-89.
Has the size advantage. Boston takes advantage.
But the Sky would not stop fouling, and with 17 seconds left, Williams grabbed her on a drive and sent her to the line, where she buried both free throws to go 13 for 13 and push the lead to 98-93. And then, with 7 seconds left on the clock, the Fever turned it over, and Diggins buried a tying 3 that sent the game to overtime and erased everything Indiana had just fought to build. But overtime started, and she looked at that moment the way a killer looks at a second chance, because she had already been through the collapse and the technical, and none of it had broken her. She took the ball at the top of the key, drove straight at Taylor, hit her with a spin move in the paint, and finished with her right hand for a bucket that put Indiana up 102-98. And the replay showed exactly what Taylor was dealing with, because she spun off the contact twice and still finished at the rim like nobody was there.
Clark spinning. Clark, oh, she got to the rim!
And when she was not scoring, she was still orchestrating, because she took a handoff, drove toward the baseline, and kicked the ball back to her teammate at the perimeter for a jumper that pushed the lead to 106-101.
Boston, Clark back for Boston, she's open, and delivers!
That was her 10th assist of the night, and every single one of them came because she made the defense move first and then punished whatever they left open. Then on the inbound, she delivered a pass to her teammate cutting into the paint, and the foul they drew on the play stretched the lead to 108-104 with under a minute left. But there was one more wobble, because the Fever committed an 8-second violation that gave Chicago the ball back and had every person in Gainbridge holding their breath.
Yeah, I don't think they did. I think the official finally caught it.
However, the last word belonged to her, because she got fouled one final time, stepped to the line, and buried both free throws to finish 15 for 15 and seal the 114-106 overtime victory. 32 points on a night where she carried every single quarter, and then overtime. 10 assists and 7 rebounds, because she was the engine and the motor and the closer. 15 for 15 from the free throw line, 3 nights after the 2 misses in Washington that almost cost her everything. That was her 3rd career 30-point, 10-assist game, and nobody else in WNBA history has done it more than once. They gave her a technical, and she gave them a history book that only has her name in it. See you on the next one.